Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and today I am joined by one of the largest female crypto YouTubers and a fellow technical analyst in the cryptocurrency space, none other than WendyO. She's got over 125,000 subs on YouTube, and she's pushing 200K followers on Twitter. Wendy, I am so pleased to be joined by you today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Jeb. Thank you so much for having me on. It's always a pleasure to chat with you and to speak to people that are like-minded.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's one of the things I love about this show that we do on Saturdays. I get to interview all of my friends here in cryptocurrency. And what I like to do, just for your sake and for the audience's sake, I like to kind of talk about how everybody got into cryptocurrency. Like, what was your journey in getting into cryptocurrency? So we're going to talk about that a little bit. But before we get started, I have to ask you, tell us a little bit about the pillow behind you. Is that Baby Yoda?
Of course it's Baby Yoda. So Baby Yoda is super, even Yoda is super adorable. And I just like when they released the Mandalorian, I'm just like, oh my God, this is adorable. I actually grew up, my aunt was a massive Star Wars fan. So I kind of grew up watching some of this stuff, a lot of sci-fi, Star Trek, a lot of those old vintage movies from the 50s and 60s about all that stuff. But just Baby Yoda is adorable. It's not scary. And my daughter's not scared of it. So I'm like, I have to have this in my office. So there's my Baby Yodas. And I actually have a little green teddy bear. I don't know where that came from, but that just goes to show that bears can be bullish too, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. No, I love it. My dad saw the original Star Wars in theaters in 1976. And then when I was a teenager, the worst trilogy came out. So I got to kind of relive that. So it was pretty cool. Each generation has had their own trilogy. Well, Wendy, I want to talk a little bit about how you got into cryptocurrency and your journey to social media icon now that you are here in the cryptocurrency space. Like I said, you're one of the largest female YouTubers in the space. And I think that's absolutely incredible. We need more representation from you gals here in crypto. Wendy, how did you first hear about Bitcoin/crypto? I don't know which one was first.
2011, 2012, family member came to live with me and said, can I borrow your credit card to buy Bitcoin? I said, heck no, you're crazy. What is this? I didn't think I was smart enough. He was doing buying computer parts online, he said. But yeah, I said, no, I don't even think I had a credit card back then. I was kind of getting back on my feet, figuring life out. So that's when I initially heard about it. But when I fell down the rabbit hole was end of 2017. I was in a transition period in my life. I was quitting my job in healthcare. I worked in HIV, AIDS, infectious disease for 7 years, the largest nonprofit globally. I just had my daughter, I had a newer baby, and I was commuting 3-hour round trips. Or three-hour round trip commutes 4 times a week. So I was working 4 10-hour shifts in healthcare, and I wasn't with my kid or my family. I was like, this is not going to work. So I was like starting to become more entrepreneurial. I'm like, how can I get out of this? How can I improve my quality of life? So I went to the SBA. I had like a meeting with them because I wanted to open like a bar, brewery, like donut shop. I was coming up with these different things that I can be like a stay-at-home mom or have a business to where my kid can be there with me and I can be close to home. So I ended up not doing that because the cost to do was super, super high. So I kept hearing about crypto and Bitcoin on libertarian radio because I'm just right down the middle. I just believe people should be happy just as long as they showcase kindness and compassion to other people. I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. So I went, and my daughter's screaming on my hip. I forget what happened. She was upset about something. And I was like, and I went on Coinbase. I downloaded it. I bought like $1,000 of Bitcoin, some Ethereum and Litecoin. And then a family friend was like, you need to get on crypto Twitter. I'm like, I don't like social media. And so I got on crypto Twitter. I saw these cartoon avatars like charting. And I was like, I've got a strong math background. Because I taught myself how to do math because I wanted to become a pharmacist, and you kind of need that for pharmacy school. Plus I was, know a little bit about dosage calculations. So then I just kind of started posting charts and people liked it. Then I noticed a need for meetups because all the meetups were for some weird ICOs and you had to pay like $1,000 to listen to people talk. Posted over 4 dozen free events all across the United States and some in Canada, and streamed them on the YouTube channel. And then the YouTube channel just grew into something else.
Man, that is awesome. And didn't you just have an event? I think I saw something on your Twitter. Did you just have one?
Yeah, so we went to Tampa. I flew out there with the Crypto Nights. We went to speak and then just to do some team building. And then I generally do one once a month in Los Angeles, Orange County, San Diego, kind of local. And so I've got one tonight actually, but you guys that are watching will miss it. But I'm going to Miami at the end of the month. I forget what conference it is, but I'm going to try to put together an event there. I'll be going with Altcoin Daily, so it'll be lots of fun.
That is awesome. Well, I think that that's something that we need to see a lot more of in crypto, is going into the real world. But let me ask you this. What was it like getting into the cryptocurrency space as a mother, as somebody that had been, in the traditional, like, hey, I'm going to go to school, get a job, work, and then, retire. How is that transition from like the real world, if you will, into being in cryptocurrency full time, as I think you are? Because I think a lot of people in cryptocurrency have a very similar story to you, or I think even more of them are similarly in that transitionary period where they want to go all in full time in crypto. How did that happen for you?
So for me, my journey is different because when I worked in healthcare, I didn't just work, when you work in HIV/AIDS, when you work in infectious disease, you don't just deal with the specific population. Like when you work in a regular pharmacy, you work in a medical practitioner office, you generally deal with patients that have like diabetes or they're overweight or they have heart issues. There's really like a specialty. But when you're dealing with clients with a lifelong disease, it's not just the infectious disease they've got a lot of emotional issues, they have addiction issues, they have lots of trauma. And plus with the medication that they're taking, it generally causes them to have heart issues, diabetes, like mental illness, all of these things. So I was used to dealing with very different personalities, like literally like you would go from like red to green, like very, very easily. It was like just crazy, the diverse type of clients I had. So I learned to show compassion, and I learned to also interact with people from different backgrounds. So for me, I was used to hecticness, to craziness, and I've kind of been around those types of circles my whole life. I lived in Hollywood and all different types of things, and I've had different types of jobs. So it wasn't too big of a transition for me, because I'm used to like the really over the top personalities. But at the same time, it's hard to kind of get on a schedule when you're used to having something set for you. But still, when I was at my other job, I kind of made my own hours and rules. But the best advice I can give somebody who's transferring over from a traditional 9 to 5 to entrepreneurship or doing your own thing is figure out what works for you, try different things, and don't be scared to try different things. If you are not willing to put yourself out there and to try, you won't know if you will succeed, and you won't know if that particular method works. So take chances. Part of entrepreneurship is investing in yourself with that opportunity cost. And you kind of have to figure out what works and what doesn't work. So it's good to take chances now, get it sorted out, so you're not going to have those hurdles later down the road.
I absolutely love that, because that's something that I think a lot of people struggle with is I think, and guys, tell us in the comments, Wendy and I would both like to see it. I think there's a lot of people in cryptocurrency that watch our channels, both of our channels, that want to go full-time in crypto. They want to say, okay, I hate my job, I hate my boss, whatever it is. I want to go full in on crypto. I want to make a lifetime, I want to make a living trading, or I want to make a living flipping NFTs, or I want to make a living doing whatever. I want to make a living being a content creator. And I think a lot of people struggle with that barrier. And quite frankly, if I was in the position, if I was working a 9 to 5 right now and wanted to build what I've built, I don't know if I would. The only reason that I did is because I had to, because I had nothing when I started the channel for like a year. Literally all I would do is make content all day long. And if it didn't work, that was the end of it. I didn't have a choice. So I think that transition is really difficult for some people. So tell us, Wendy, what is kind of like the heartbeat from that late 2017 when you really started getting into it? You bought the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, I think you said it was. When you bought the top, yeah, I got in at the end of 2017 too. I got in at like August 2017, so I got in the same time. What's like the heartbeats of the progression that you've seen over the last 4 years in your journey to where you are now?
So the coolest thing about the spaces is like a lot of people are so quick to call altcoins a scam, or they're so quick to say this is a scam. Everything is a scam because you're not seeing massive price pumps. But if the project is a good project, it's got good fundamentals, it's got a good team, understand that these people aren't bad people. These are startups. And I'm going to repeat this again. These are startups. And if you're an entrepreneur, you know how hard a startup is. You know how hard it is. Whatever it is you're doing, it's hard. It's not easy. And most people are good in like doing like 1 or 2 specific things. They have a specialty, but being an entrepreneur, you have to be able to do marketing, management, accounting, understand legal documents, like understand all these things. So it's about delegating, finding good people to work with and delegating. So the evolution that we've seen in the space is that now we have projects that have utility. They're actually improving the quality of life. Back in 2017, a lot of it was vaporware. And it's not that these people are bad people. It's just small businesses fail. Like 80% of small businesses fail. It's very common. And they're not bad people. They just don't have those skills, and that's okay. They just haven't found their niche yet. So the evolution has been amazing to see all the growth in crypto. It makes me so, so happy to see people coming up with creative solutions to really solve real world problems that traditional industries, especially traditional finance, has not been able to solve. And it makes me very bullish. It makes me excited. It makes me really happy, because if you're watching this right now, that means you want to improve your quality of life. That means that you have a family, or you've came from somewhere and you're excited and you want to learn, you want to grow. And I do believe that crypto is going to be that answer for a lot of us. But at the same time, you can't expect everything to go your way. You have to work very hard, and you have to be very careful where you put your capital. And you also have to be willing to cut risk when that time comes. So always have a plan.
Well, let me ask you two questions at once here. One of the first question I want to ask you is, how can people easily, quickly spot a scam? Because I was sent something a while ago. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a scam. And just so you understand how to spot the scam, here's the 8 things that I noticed that tell me that it's a scam. So number one, how do you spot a scam? And number two, obviously only tell us anything that you're comfortable with, but are there any really low moments that you have been through in cryptocurrency that maybe you learned something from that other people can learn something from?
Yeah, so it's very hard to spot a scam. It actually is, because, well, there's some that you can tell right away. Like if you see a company using a lot of bots, then the project's probably a scam. Like I don't like any of those types of things. But now it's becoming a little bit harder, because like you have to know how to read code. You have to go into the Discord or the Telegram communities and ask questions. So, and also too, there's like so much hype going on. So I do have a team that helps me with stuff. Like when we do present anything on the channel, whether it's sponsored or not, unless it's like the Sunday live stream at 6 p.m. where I take altcoin requests, and I don't have time to research any of this stuff. It's just me, shouting stuff out for the community. And if you come and you ask me to chart something or talk about it, I will. I'll be like, this doesn't look good. I don't like this. But it is kind of hard to spot scams. But at the same time, if it's a very low market cap and it really doesn't have utility, or they don't really have, if the website looks kind of funky, you can kind of tell. But at the same time, I highly recommend to join the communities and kind of just watch from a side and ask questions, or find a group of people that you can relate to, that you guys can kind of come together. Maybe you're really good at trading. Maybe they're good at coding. Maybe they are really good at DeFi, but kind of have a group of people that maybe you can chat to about this stuff. I think that's important, and it does.
The community is really important there. Absolutely.
And if you've got a bad gut feeling about something, stay away. And the last piece of information I will give you, if you miss one bus in crypto, let's say you didn't get into something because you thought it was a scam, no trade is an action, and that's okay. You don't have to invest in everything. You have a set amount of capital, and you need to work with that set amount of capital, and don't feel the need to get into everything. Because if you take a step back and let's say you're like, okay, project X looked like a scam, so I don't want to get into it, but then it ended up not being a scam and it took off, you learned a lesson. And then you can take that knowledge and apply it to the next project that you see.
Yeah, that's really interesting and very important, because you speak a lot about entrepreneurship. Do you know the name Patrick Bet-David from the YouTube channel Valuetainment? You know?
I do not.
You don't? Okay. So he runs $1 billion insurance company, and he has something that he calls the 20-20-20-20 rule. He says the first 20 years of your life, don't screw anything up. That's all you got to worry about for the first 20. Don't get a felony charge. Don't, break your back or something. The next 20 years of your life put into career. The next 20 years and 20, it doesn't really matter. But the point is that he's like, the first 20 years of your life, just don't screw anything up. And I think that's good advice for anybody who's in cryptocurrency. No matter when you are in cryptocurrency, you need to try and avoid screwing yourself over. But if you can avoid losing half of your portfolio by just simply not making a trade that you weren't confident in, that is just as valuable, if not more valuable, than making $1,000 on a trade that you weren't that confident in the first place. I think that's something that people don't talk about very often, that not making a trade is an action, and sometimes it is the best action you can take. Well, let me ask you this. What do you think is the biggest threat to a trader who's been in the space for less than a year? What's the biggest thing they need to watch out for?
We are in a bull market. Everybody is a savant. Everybody is making money. It is so, so easy to make money. And this is not a jab at anybody. Yep. This is just me being 100% real. Just because you are making money in a bull market doesn't mean you're going to be able to make money in a bear market. I am a better trader in a bear market than I am in a bull market. 100%. That's one of my weaknesses. That's why I'm more of a swing trader now, because I'm better at shorting stuff. I don't know what it is. I'm better at shorting stuff. Yep. So I'm not trading too much. I'm taking more long-term plays. So I think that one of the things you should do is you have a trading plan, you have an investing plan. If you're not feeling good, you're hungry, you're tired, your kid's screaming, whatever it is, don't get in a trade. It's okay. I feel like you get this FOMO and people feel like they have to get in. You don't have to. Like the no action is an action and it's very, very valid, but just be very picky and particular on your stuff. Like you don't have to get every single play right, and log your stuff, journal your stuff. Like, why did you lose this trade? Why did you get liquidated? Did you get stopped? Did you made a bullish call, but it ended up being bearish? Journal this stuff down so you can go back and be like, hey, I remember, because if you have this stuff journaled down, then you'll be, when you're in a similar situation, you can go back and be like, oh my God, this is what happened. This is what I can do to improve it. And the name of the game, like obviously we want to make as much money as possible, but at the same time, the name of the game is making money, but it's also knowing when to make money. When is the right time? And if you're journaling the stuff down, I always recommend writing it down manually because it does something different with the brain. You can go back and you can remember, or you can teach yourself a lesson that way.
I love that, because there's a quote that I'm in a business forum with some other CEOs here in town, and one of the things that we say all the time is you can't improve what you can't measure. So if you're not writing down, for example, an analogy that a lot of our viewers might hopefully would relate to is logging your workouts. Like if you're not logging your workouts, you're going to have no idea what kind of progress you're making. And that's not just saying, okay, I benched 135 for 10 and I did that for 4 sets. Log like, hey, I ate a giant meal of carbs right before this and I feel like crap. Let me remind myself not to do that. Have you done that recently? I did that a couple months ago. It sucked.
You know what? This is the thing. I like to work out every day. I box too also. But one of the things I do is I do intermittent fasting. So I won't eat after 6 and I try not to eat till noon the next day. But on the weekends, I have a carb problem. I have a really bad carb problem. Like yesterday I ate like a big thing of pasta, calamari, all that stuff. So I do have a carb problem, and it happens to me often more than I'd like to admit.
Oh, please. No, I just, with myself and 3 of my staff went and ran the stadium, because we're at the Swamp, Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, and I vomited twice doing it. I pushed myself so hard. It took me like an hour and a half to run the whole stadium. Taylor, who's on our staff, ran it in 30 minutes. This woman, insane what some people are capable of. It was ridiculous. I love running that stadium, but goodness gracious, that was rough. So I have one final question for you, Wendy. And before I say that, I just wanted to compliment your sleeve. I think it looks really great. I like your tattoo.
Thanks.
Awesome. Absolutely. What is the one piece of advice, not financial advice, but, self-improvement advice that you could give to our audience and your audience, especially for those people that have been in ever since this cryptocurrency tear started back around last December?
No matter what, crypto is very, very new. It's only been around, like 13 years, 12 years. Crypto is new. Nobody is a genius. Nobody knows everything in crypto. So the best piece of advice I can give you is take 10 minutes out of your day, maybe 3 times a week, 5 times, 7 times, once a week. I don't care when it is. You guys know your schedule, you know your bodies, and you know what works for you. The best piece of advice I can give to you, take 10 minutes and continue to educate yourself on different aspects. If you've been in crypto for a very long time, you know all about Bitcoin, you know all about degen coins, you know about all these things. DeFi is a lot newer. NFTs are a lot newer. There's so many different parts of crypto that are newer that are coming out that I'm just like, oh my goodness, what is this stuff? So I would just recommend taking 10 minutes out of your time and just researching or educating yourself. Like there's sometimes where I'll read like an SEC document, I'll read something that's very traditional in crypto, and I might forget what it means. Like the other day I had to look up what transitory was because I'm like, what is this? There's no shame in Googling simple definitions. There's no shame in going back and refreshing on something. Let's say you haven't read the Bitcoin white paper in a while, go back and read it. Let's say you forgot how to use RSI or spotted divergence. Go to Investopedia, it's free. Re-educate yourself on this stuff. It's okay to do that. Knowledge is power. And the more knowledge you have about different things is going to help you, and it will help you succeed.
That is awesome. Well, I know another way that people can succeed. They can go and follow you on Twitter. Can you plug your Twitter for us, Wendy?
All of my handles are at CryptoWendyO. I will never DM you. I love and appreciate, respect all of you guys, but at the same time, I will not be in your DMs. But everything, TikTok, YouTube, my website, Twitter, Instagram is all at CryptoWendyO.
There you go. And guys, you can find those links down below. Wendy, thank you so much for coming on our channel. It was a pleasure hearing about your journey in crypto. And I think you just provided a ton of value for everybody. If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, but more importantly, subscribe to Wendy's channel and go follow her on Twitter. Wendy, you're at how many followers you have on Twitter right now? I think 197, is it?
I have no idea. I'm just a mom. I don't know.
I think you're like 3,000 away. And by the time this goes up, you're probably going to be about 2,000 away. So if everybody who watches this goes and follows you, you will easily pass 200K followers. I think you have earned it. So make sure to go and do that. Guys, that's all I got time for today. Before we go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.